I have an intimate subject that I want to talk about this morning. And in this small, intimate setting of half the people I don't even know, I'm going to share a secret. Yes, a secret. So please keep it to yourself. This is something I haven't talked amongst a lot of other people, at least not recently. And you need to take this to the grave with you. When we're growing up, people ask you and asked you, what are you going to be when you grow up? What are you going to be when you're an adult? What is your job calling? And the answer for most of us is, I don't know. Some people have great clarity. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a sports hero. I want to be a policeman, a fireman, whatever. I want to be a doctor. For me, I had no clear calling. My father was a doctor, so I think it was assumed that I would be a doctor also. But somewhere along the line, something went wrong. Yes, it went wrong. And I entered the darker side. And I think it was in junior high when the secret came to me as a calling. Yes, it came to me as a calling. I thought that I should be an undertaker. Yes, the vernacular for a funeral director. I should be in the funeral business. For some in this room, you would find that an unholy calling. Some would say that is strange. But for me, it was obvious. My grandfather owned a funeral home. In fact, it was Vines in Rochester. My mother had grown up in the funeral business. She had lived in the house, as was common in many of those days. I had spent my younger years around the funeral home, in the peripheral of it all. I knew the smells, the feels, and so on and so forth. So, when I was 16 years old, they sent me off to Rochester for on-the-job training one summer. 90 days of on-the-job training. And what an experience it was. I got a chance to see up close what it was really like. And what a surprise. The first day, I was out cutting grass, washing cars, polishing furniture, arranging chairs. Man, it doesn't get any duller than that. But it only got better after that, because on day 2, they took me down to the clothing store so that I could get my funeral suit. Yes, a dark suit that would enable me to work in the funeral home, to be a pallbearer, to drive cars, to host visitations. Wow, just to have a presence there. Well, that summer, it got more and more exciting. I got a chance to find up close what it was really like at the funeral home. You know, they have a thing they call funeral home humor. It's kind of dark, as you'd expect. But those funeral home guys are really, really funny. Another thing I noticed is that they have people that hang around the funeral home. Just like bars, restaurants, motorcycle stores, gun places, it's the same thing. And they're a little strange. The most notable ones are the grave diggers, because they used to have people that dug graves by hand. And I remember one fellow by the name of John, the grave digger. That was a special person. You know, in those days, I handled flowers. Cut flowers that came in for arrangements. And I remember the smell. And today, when I go any place where there's fresh flower arrangements, guess what I think about? The funeral home. You know, I learned special skills there. I learned to tie the infamous Windsor knot. But I learned to tie it from the other direction, because I had to put it on his shirt. And that takes a different skill. I'm not sure I can tie it the other way. I learned other things, but it was all interesting and exciting. My summer ended at the end of 90 days. I walked away thinking, this isn't for me. But I walked away because of one particular reason. It's 24/7, 365 days a year. It just doesn't end. I didn't think that was for me. The other things didn't bother me, but I went on from there. Now, when I think back upon those days, I think of 3 little secrets that I've learned. And they can be capsulized very simply. Dead weight. Now, in today's world, when we think about dead weight, we typically might think about a golf partner like Ross, who's not carrying his weight. But I'll tell you, when you go out to pick up bodies that are dead, and they are bodies, they're heavy as hell. There's just something about dead people that makes them extra heavy. Whether they're little people or big people, they're just heavy. The other thing I've noticed is that, and noticed at that time, is that people die at the damnedest times. You know, you may be getting ready to eat. Maybe you've got a pizza on order, and that phone rings, and you've got to go, just like the firemen. You just got to go. They die on weekends. They die in the middle of the night. They just die when it's very, very inconvenient. And probably the last thing, and everybody can relate to this in the room, I know. When you go to a visitation, and you go to see Rick laid out ahead of you, hands crossed in kind of this peaceful look, you say, "My, doesn't he look good?" No way, Jose. Rick never looked that bad in life. So, that being said, when you get ready to go, and each and every one of you in this room will do that, show a little consideration. First of all, time your demise in a place where the big people can get in to pick you up. Make it easy for them. Let's show some consideration. 2, let's do it during daylight hours during the week. I think that's a small thing to ask. And 3, take care of yourself. Clean yourself up a little ahead of time so you look your best when you're ready. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.